Don't let it in there. It's Savannah's 7th inning, bases loaded, 2 outs, and 2 strikes, down by 1. You're under the lights at the most important game you faced. You're sweating, seeing the last pitch coming in. You watch it to the bat, and next you know, parents are cheering you on, and players are patting you on the back. You just had the game-winning hit. Many people have heard and know some about the game of softball, and I'm here to educate you more about the sport. Many females around the world spend hours a day training to be the best they can be at. To many girls, softball isn't just a sport, but it's their life. They play to share lifelong experiences with their best friends, or because they want to go on and play college ball. I'll be discussing some of the rules, the positions, and some of the history of the game. First, I'll be talking about some of the positions. Tom Chiarella and Michael Siegel, authors of the Real Summer Game, stated, "Suddenly I was in the infield where there's a premium on bravery and quick hands, especially at the hot corners, where the ability to stop balls with your chest represents a primary qualification for the job." There are 9 positions in the game of softball. You have your 3 outfielders, your left fielder, your center fielder, your right fielder, and they're the ones that cover the grass part of the field. You have your shortstop, your second baseman, your first baseman, and your third baseman. Third and the first baseman are considered the hot corners. They're the ones that get the quick balls that come to them, and pretty much all of them, these positions get like the main balls that come in the infield. You have the pitcher, who probably works the most outside of actual games to make sure her pitches are working. And then you have the catcher, that is the one that throws for like stolen bases and stuff. There are many different rules in the game of softball when talking about the defensive side, but there are also rules offensively as well. There are a certain number of batters you can have in the lineup. At the collegiate level, you can only have 9 players in the lineup, and during summer ball, or is what you play like leading up to play college ball, you are allowed as many as you want in the lineup until you get into tournament play, and then you have to only have 9. In college ball, you're also allowed a DH, or a designated hitter, which means that you can take one person out of the lineup that is playing in the field and has someone hit for them, but they're still allowed to play the field. This is normally used with the pitcher to make sure that she's not tired or she doesn't get hurt. You get 3 strikes and 4 balls with 3 outs to conclude the half inning. If you get 3 strikes before 4 balls, then you're out, but if you get 4 balls before 3 strikes, you get the free base. There are 7 innings in the game of softball, and if the case of a tie came about, you would play normally until the 9th inning if you were playing like summer ball. And then Don Beeman from a newspaper named District 1 asked for a recall of softball rule, stated, under the rule, if a game is tied at the end of 9 innings, the visiting team puts a runner on second base to start the 10th inning. The home team does the same thing, and it's half of the 10th inning, and then you continually play until you have a winner. Now that you know some of the basics of softball, I'm sure you want to know some of the history of it. The game of softball was invented in 1887 on Thanksgiving Day by George Hancock, and it wasn't considered a college sport until the early 1900s. The original name was not softball, but they many times called it like kitten ball, mush ball, or indoor baseball. Since softball was originally supposed to be played indoors, that's why the distance between like the bases and the pitching mound is different than baseball, because it was supposed to be played indoors. According to a newspaper from the site LexisNexis named Sports Eye News in Brief, the International Olympic Committee, meeting in Singapore July 8th, voted to eliminate baseball and softball from the Summer Olympics as of 2012. They say that the reason they eliminated it was because it wasn't popular enough around the world, and also the U.S. pretty much dominated for the most part. But they're trying to get proposals to get softball back in the Olympics for the 2020. Softball gloves were not originally made of leather, but of rolled up boxing gloves. And softballs were not hard and smaller like they are now, but they were a lot larger, about 16 inches, and they were actually considered soft balls. According to History of Softball from iSport, as a professional sport, softball has not garnered nearly as much recognition around the world as its comparable male counterpart, baseball. In the U.S., there's only 4 professional women's softball teams today: the Akron Racers, the Chicago Bandits, the USSSA Pride, and the Tennessee Diamonds. Therefore, it is a lot harder to pursue a career in softball because there are very few teams, teams that women can try to be on. In conclusion, we are all informed of the position softball has to offer, rules that need to be followed when playing, and just some of the history of the sport in general. According to Joe Paisley from the Source Gazette, for many, playing gives them a chance to compete, exercise, and socialize. Softball isn't just about the wins and the losses, or the runs on the scoreboard at the end of the game. For many people, old and young, softball is just a way to have fun and even get some exercise. You don't always have to be playing competitively. Sometimes just playing with your close friends is a well-lived experience.